So I saw this Instagram post the other day where it was some person talking about how they were alone on their birthdays. I went to the comments and I saw a bunch of other guys in the comments who were also talking about how they always spend their birthdays alone and how they're actually happy about that and how they don't have a lot of friends. Maybe they don't have a social life, but they're okay with that. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, that's pretty fucking sad. I kind of thought about this whole advice that I hear on the self-improvement space, which is about going ghost, not having a social circle, disappearing, and just working on yourself. And yes, I would agree to that advice to a certain extent, right? I would definitely believe that at a certain point, we all need to just have alone time. We all need to have alone time. We all maybe need to just stay to ourselves for a certain point, 100%, right? But I would argue that when you start to make it a lifestyle and a normal thing in your life, as for some of the guys in the comments who were talking about how they haven't celebrated their birthday with anyone in years. Like, I don't care. That's sad as hell. Like, you're telling me not even your family? When you make being alone and going ghost and disappearing a lifestyle, then that's when I would say your growth as a man, and not even just as a man, but as a human, is very limited. So I believe that there's two stages to self-improvement: the noob stage and the advanced stage. Now, the noob stage is where you're first discovering self-improvement, you're first getting onto the habits, you're first becoming more self-aware about your life and where you're at and stuff, right? And I would say that the noob stage is where, you know, going ghost and disappearing is more applicable when you start cutting the distractions or you start eliminating it and things like that, right? And taking more time to yourself. This is when you will start to see a lot of growth. But an advice that I would give for this stage of when you're going ghost is communicate it with your close friends and family. Now, yes, people say not everybody needs an explanation, right? Or you don't need to explain yourself to everybody and things like that, but do to others what you like to be done to you. Imagine if a friend of yours just went ghost on you out of nowhere, right? You can't reach out to them, they just completely stop talking to you, they blocked you or whatever, right? Imagine how that would make you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would completely destroy the relationship that you have with that person. And again, relationships is a big thing, and that's another thing I'm gonna get into later on in this video. But imagine how you would feel, right? I'm not saying go out your way, text a whole paragraph and explain yourself and how you've discovered self-improvement. Don't do that. All I'm saying is, hey bro, I hope you're doing good. I just got a couple of things I'm working on, so if you reach out to me but I'm a little distant, I am working on things just to let you know. That's it. All you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? I am a big believer in communication is the most important thing, especially when it comes to close friends or family or, you know, people who, you know, that you respect a lot and they respect you, right? Just communicate like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be distant for a little bit. Hope you understand. And as for the people who respect that and they understand, those are good people to keep around. And for the ones who are constantly questioning and they're just like, what you got going on and all this and that, then that's when it actually does help you realize who you gotta keep around and who you do gotta limit yourself around or distance yourself or cut off. But when it comes to the advanced stage of self-improvement where, you know, you've built yourself up, you are consistent, this is when I say going ghost or disappearing is not applicable. Because one, I personally think that it brainwashes you to think that anyone who is different from you or is going somewhere else in their life or maybe different goals and stuff like that, right? It makes you think that you need to cut those people off. Now, me personally, every single person in my life and people who I've grown up with have been amazing, right? Just because we're going on two different paths, maybe I see myself as more business entrepreneurial and they see themselves more as corporate, or maybe they have kids and I don't have kids, but right? All my friends are very different in their own ways, but just because they are doesn't mean they're hindering my growth. I would argue that unless they're actually hindering your growth, unless they're actually dragging you down and they're super negative and toxic, then yes, cut them off, distance yourself from them. But just because a friend is different from me doesn't mean I'm gonna cut them off. Because it goes into my next point of I'm a big person and an advocate for be around people who are different from you. I know that on social media in the self-improvement space, people always preach this: be around like-minded people, be around people who are similar as you, be around people who this and that, right? Yes, that is great, right? That is great, and you can get a lot of growth from that. I personally think that growth doesn't just come from the same things you're surrounded around with. I believe that growth comes from differences in your life, diversity in your life, right? Diversity in thoughts, diversity in culture, in religion, in socioeconomic status, right? Just being around different people with different stories and different experiences, right? And different perspectives of life. Because imagine a person who is, let's say when it comes to religion, let's say you've been around somebody who has been Christian their whole life and they only know Christian values and they only have seen things in the world from a Christian lens. Now, great, this is amazing, right? It reinforces their identity and their beliefs and everything, right? That's cool. But let's say you, someone who's Muslim, right? Or someone who's Buddhist or this and that, you have a completely different perspective on life, right? Where you can teach your friend something and your friend can teach you something. You can learn something from everyone, from somebody, right? Now, don't take advice from people who aren't in the same position as you in terms of, let's say, not say me, I want to be a millionaire, right? I'm not gonna take, or at least I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt from somebody who isn't a millionaire, right? From somebody who works a job, they maybe only make 30K a year, then yes, obviously I'm not gonna like take their advice and run with it, right? But that's different, right? I'm talking about just people as a whole. You want to surround yourself around with so many different people, right? To just, first of all, it just helps you grow so much as a person. It helps you see a whole new lens on the world. Now, quickly, if you do want to experience this, join the paid community down below, right? Where there's so many people from different cultures, backgrounds, and experiences, just to chit chat with each other, chit chat with me, get one-on-one advice, things like that. But again, out there in the world, you never know who you can meet, who can help you grow. Now, another thing about this is that I'm very big about speaking about your goals because you never know who can help. Now, I'm not saying go and run your mouth and blab about every single thing about your life. That's not what I'm trying to say, right? Because privacy matters, right? Privacy in relationships, privacy in finances, privacy, like in a whole, privacy matters. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're in a conversation and if it gets brought up, speak about your goals, right? Talk about it with somebody. You never know who can help you. There's been so many things in my life that I've been able to accomplish because I've told someone about it and they knew somebody who can either help me or maybe they have a resource that can help me. You never know who can help you. It's all about growing your network, growing your connections if you're very intentional about it. And again, back to, let's say there's people who actually are bad for you, they're negative for you, right? If you're gonna cut out old relationships and your old life stuff, replace it with new ones. Don't just let it be. Don't just cut out everything in your life and go ghost and live life by yourself and be in your room all day and shit like that, right? Don't be like that, because again, us as not just men, but us as human beings, social life, relationships is a human need. I don't care what you say. It is a core human need. It is a biological need that we need to be around people. We need to have relationships, right? That provides mental clarity, right? Better mental health, positivity in our lives, fulfillment, longer lifespan as well. And this is when, again, I really encourage you to meet people from different backgrounds because they will really open up your eyes to new things. I have so many friends. I have rich friends, broke friends, Indian friends, Mexican friends, friends who are disabled, gay friends. I have friends from literally a lot of parts of just life. It's really helped me and shaped me to who I am. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they've changed me and I'm a different person, because I'm saying that yes, they have all had their influences in my life and how I see the world, but based on my own still morals, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm still gonna have my own morals and who I am, but you open up your eyes a lot more and see the world as a whole. So if you're wanting to be in a community of other like-minded people and people from so many different backgrounds, but also share the same goal of just trying to get shit done in our lives and be better people, join the paid community down below. It's only $25 a month to get one-on-one advice, chit chat with others and me, just yap about things. And again, just be in a community of other people with a shared goal. RNH Hunnid, stay Hunnid with yourself.